to the rehearsal lunch. We're so glad that everybody was able to make it here today. And wow, what a night last night. I wasn't going to get on the bus, but I did, and I'm glad I did. Because you know what people ask me when I come back from work, have you ever been on a P-bus? I say, yes, of course. Of course, the question. So, but anyway, lovely welcome party last night. Will and Camilla actually sponsored that one, and they were the hosts, so thank you for, just a great way to start a weekend of celebration. I don't think any of us are going to forget the Chivas. And dancing in La Plaza de San Francisco. What a surprise to have the band there waiting for us and everything. So thank you to the Cifuentes for that. I know, I didn't ask, but I know that you all did that. So who else would do that? So, and thank you for all you've done to make this a very special weekend for Will and Camilla and for all of us. So,
you're welcome.
So we have an expression back home. You're not losing a son, you're gaining a daughter. And we feel that way about Camilla, but we didn't know that in the package that we're gaining a whole nother family. And actually two families. Los Cifuentes y Los Britos. So you truly welcomed us into your family, and it's so really great to be back here and see all the Cifuentes that we met 18 months ago here in Quito and Rio Pablo. So I also want to thank our family, the Rosellos, who are over here. The Newtons, I think, are in the back there. And thanks for making the trip. As I was saying to everybody who's coming from the United States, it's only one continent down. And then all of Will's godparents are here. So my brother, Randy Rosello, is one of his godfathers.
No, he's not. Patrick was his godfather.
No.
Patrick.
Why? And he's here with his wife Leanne and their son Ryan, who's in Bloomston. And Ryan is like the third brother in our family. He doesn't have any other siblings, so he's kind of, Alex, Will, and Ryan, like the big three there. And then his other godfather is Chris Newton. Where's Chris? Oh, yeah, Chris couldn't make it because his little son got sick. He's probably from the altitude. But he was going to play the violin today for us. He's 11, and so we missed that. And then Will's godmother and aunt, my sister, Sandra Allen, is also here. So thank you. And thanks to all the others of you who've helped raise these two. And for Will, that includes Nick, Pat, and Jake. Am I right?
You're right. Yeah. Watch that boy.
These guys had so much fun, and somehow they never got into any serious trouble. Very smart kids. So we're feeling very blessed today, Bonnie and I. We have two great sons, and we have a fabulous daughter-in-law named Lex. Where's
Right in front of
right
you.
in front of you. And tomorrow we're going to have another fabulous daughter-in-law. So what can I say about Will and Camilla? Let me start with Will. I've actually known him longer. As a kid, Will was always happy and entertaining and fun. He had a fabulous sense of humor. He was often silly. He was constantly smiling. And he still likes to have a good time, I think. Yeah, I guess I could say that about him. He was very blonde. Como sucos Cifuentes. And he worshipped his older brother. And we're still the best of friends. Will, he could be very independent and he could be fearless. We used to take the kids skiing when they were young, and one time when Will was 4, We took him to the top of the mountain to ski down with us under our supervision, and that didn't work out so well. Next thing you know, we turn around and he's gone. So you know, little kids, they don't get many pulls. And if you let a little kid go down a mountain, they just go straight down. So we couldn't catch up to him. And we totally lost sight of him, and we had no idea. We had this, Bonnie and I were thinking, oh, he must have crashed right into the building. And when we got to the bottom, he was just sitting there waiting for us. To this day, we have no idea how he stopped. And as fun as Will could be, he's always been very competitive. So much so that he will try to crush your spirit in any game. So one time his grandfather Newton took us all on a trip to a resort in West Virginia. And one night we split into teams to play a game called Trivial Pursuit. You may know Trivial Pursuit. And Will was only about 8 years old. And so he was the youngest. He was the youngest in the family then. And the youngest obviously playing the game. But by the time the game was over, he had become the center of a controversy that lives on in the family to this day, and there is still a debate, particularly with his Aunt Kelly, over who won and who didn't. Right? All right?
Girls won.
And Will was a really smart kid. In fact, we thought he was a math genius. Because at age 5, he could add 3 columns of numbers playing this game called Yahtzee. You ever hear of Yahtzee with the dice, right? And he could do that. So, but we found out much later that he was not actually a math genius. But he was just, that's what parents do, right? But he was still a great student all the way through to university, and he's doing well so far in his young career as a management consultant, which happens to be what my career was. And needless to say, we're very proud of him. More importantly, throughout his life, Will always knew what he wanted, and he would make that very clear. Even before he could talk, he let us know when his mother had served him some baby food that he didn't like. He would just spit it out on the floor. And Bonnie and I used to say to ourselves, we can't wait to hear what's in that little head. After the 5th grade, we offered him a choice of schools, stay in the public schools that he had been in, or attend the private school that his brother and most of the Newton family had attended. You local people in Alexandria know what I'm talking about. He was adamant that he would be attending the public school with his friends. There would be no discussion. He knew what he wanted. As parents, we introduced him to a lot of activities and sports, and he really caught on with sports. But he knew what he wanted. He became 100% committed to just one sport, and that is, we call it here in Ecuador, football. At home we call it soccer. And I would say he probably knows more about football around the world than anyone else I've ever met. And with apologies to Alex and to his uncle Chris. Will knows more apparently. And just ask him, he'll tell you. And then there was his choice of universities. He knew what he wanted. We took him to all these different schools. We were up in Michigan and Boston and down in North Carolina, and there really was only one choice, and that was the University of Virginia. Where are the Virginia guys? There we go. It was pretty clear it was only going to be one choice. And I have to say that was a bit disappointing to his father, who attended a rival school. It was a 4-letter name. But I got over it by his final year, because Virginia won the national basketball championship.
Yeah.
And by the end, I was going from let's go Duke to wahoo wah. Whatever that means. I still don't know what that means. And then there was only one real choice of social groups, and that was Delta Sigma, right? Guys? And that's his fraternity that he joined. And some of his brothers are here today. It was a great group of young men, and we used to go there every year for a parents' thing. And Will really fit in. He found his place. right? Knew what he wanted. So throughout his young life, Will always knew what he wanted. And finally, there was only one real choice of a partner, and that was Camilla. And they met, I think, at the bar, right? Were you guys there when that happened? Were you guys there? No. No? Okay. So did it really happen, or no witnesses? So they met at the University of Virginia, and he knew pretty quickly that she was going to be his soulmate. And it didn't take long for the rest of us to know that, right? Those of us who watched this. So he knew what he wanted. So now I'm going to turn to Connie. By the way, does she look beautiful tonight? Such a fashion plate. We were talking earlier, we think she should be an influencer. So, we knew we were going to like this young woman the first time we met her. Will brought her to a parents' event. It was actually Delta City Parents event. We were out at the vineyard. You guys remember this? So you had probably met her in Leanne. But we knew right away that she was very pretty, obviously. She had a great smile, but there was this little communications challenge. You remember this? We would find out later that Kami speaks 4 languages, and 3 of them fluently. But on this day, she couldn't speak a single word. Because you see, she had laryngitis. And I think most young women in that situation would not have come that day to meet their new boyfriend's parents. Not Connie. She was going to be there for Will. So what does she do? She brings a small whiteboard with a marker and an eraser so that she could communicate with us, right? Right? I said, who thinks to do something that creative in that type of situation? Well, Connie does. Of course. After that, we would see Connie a lot. We learned what a lovely person she is, as you all know. Stylish, obviously. Really, really smart. Serious when it calls for it. Totally fun when it doesn't. And she's so accomplished, so, Bonnie and I have been following her career path, because of this relationship. And, I've been at the events down at Wake Forest, and, we're really quite proud of her as well. And not just as she became a physician assistant, which is a big accomplishment, but also that she just got her first job as a physician assistant. She secured a position at MedStar Georgetown Hospital in Washington, D.C. in the organ transplant group. So, fabulous. By the way, it's one of the great hospitals in the U.S., so you should know. So now I want to talk about them.